What do we know about the Black Empire? And why do I feel that the rise of the Black Empire will be in our future very shortly? Stick around to find out. The Black Empire is made up of the old gods, who embedded themselves into the world as we know it. Now, the old gods spread the corruption across the world, and the faceless ones came forward as taskmasters, bringing about huge temples built around the old gods. When the Black Empire first arose, the elemental lords, such as Ragnaros and others, took notice and saw that the old gods were a threat to their safety and to the world as we know it. Though the elemental lords did give it their best shot, they did eventually become enslaved to the old gods. The old gods were so fond of war, in fact, that they would even fight with each other. And this war and wave after wave of destruction continued until the Titan, Amonthal, decided to take action regardless and in fact despite of the risk of permanent damage to the planet. He reached down through the Azeroth skies and ripped Yashara from the world, tearing the old god apart, literally. After many countless battles, the Titans were finally able to imprison the remaining old gods, N'Zoth, in a underwater prison that we're still seeking out to this very day. S'thun was imprisoned within the walls of Ahn'Qiraj, along with the Qiraji. Yogg Saron was imprisoned within Ulduar. Now, with the old gods locked away safely, the Black Empire ceased to exist. The old gods did, however, continue to influence the mortal world, and they have repeatedly attempted to once again reform the Black Empire. Now let's take a look at what I believe is proof that the Black Empire will once again rise, and we're going to use a direct quote from the defeat of Argus, which reads, "Magni Bronzebeard, the tortured soul of Argus has been put to rest. Illidan, it matters not, we have lost, look at the skies." Prophet Velen, Sargeras will soon undo all that we have fought for. The voice of Amonthal, no, we will use the last glimmer of Argus's power to bind him here. The seat of the Pantheon shall become Sargeras' prison and ours as well. Prophet Velen, obviously very confused and moved, says, "You would condemn yourselves to stop him?" Illidan goes on to say, "Our world must survive no matter what the cost." The voice of Amonthal, "A sacrifice must be made. Return home, children of Azeroth. Protect the final Titan." High Exarch Tyrillian, Prophet, what happened out there? Prophet Velen, Illidan serves as the Dark Titan's jailer. His sacrifice has ended the Legion. At long last, the burning crusade. We also have Khadgar, who goes on to say, "The Legion is defeated, its master imprisoned. But in his final spiteful act, Sargeras may have doomed all of us. Our world is now wounded, champion. Its life essence seeps out into the sands, just as Magni foresaw. This mere drop of Argus blood surges with incredible power, the might of a Titan. If the blood of Azeroth also proves to be a source of such strength, those who seek to rule this world will stop at nothing to possess it. The days ahead may be dark indeed. For now, go to Silithus, gaze upon the wound in the world with your own eyes. We will find a way to save Azeroth, I know it." Now let's take a look at a photo here of the text that we see when you speak to Zadormi to take us back to the old or the new syllabus. Now I find it odd here that the Black Empire gets mentioned by an NPC that could have just as easily said nothing at all and simply teleported us to either the new or the old syllabus, depending upon which way you was needing to go. Now, what do you think about all of this? Let's not forget the scenario, though, called A Frightened World, where Magni says that he can feel the pain of Azeroth, and that she was having nightmares. And another direct quote from the very scenario where Magni says to the players, "The Dark Titan comes. We gotta stop him. Argus, the Legion's home world. She says our destiny lies there. Her feelings are a jumble. I need to focus, to let her thoughts flow into sands soaked in pain, rivers of blood, skies aflame, a sword, and the darkness, and the wound burning. Sargeras. Talking to a world soul ain't like chit-chatting with a mortal. Might be why she needs someone to become her speaker. She's haunted by the Legion and the old gods. But there's something more, a greater darkness." Now, first of all, what could be more dark than the very depth of the planet, or than the old? That is something that we'll be looking at in days and even weeks to come. Now, let's go ahead and take a look also at a few of the Whispers of Il'gynoth. And I know a lot of you have already wished that you would never hear anything about the Whispers of Il'gynoth again, but they are very important. Let's go ahead and take a look at the fact that Magni fulfills 3 of these very whispers on his own. Number 1, the King of Diamonds is made a pawn. Now, obviously, the King of Diamonds is Magni Bronzebeard, a walking, talking, who then goes on to send Khadgar, the Lord of Ravens, to seek out the Pillars of Creation, which covers 5 keys to open our way, 5 torches to light our path. And also the whisper that reads, "The Lord of Ravens will turn the key." Now Khadgar, throughout Legion, had sent us on our way, sent the players out into the world to locate and retrieve the Pillars of Creation, which is later used to open the tomb of Sargeras. Let's take a look at the following 2 whispers. Her heart is a crater, and we have filled it. At the hour of her 3rd death, she will usher in our coming. Now, all throughout Legion, we've all wondered and even speculated as to who Il'gynoth was talking about here. But I believe more now than ever that this is in reference to Azeroth herself. The first death of Azeroth was the Sundering. Death number 2, the Shattering. And death number 3, the attack of Sargeras on the planet itself. Number 1, Absolute Zero. Now this had a frost theme like that of the Wrath of the Lich King. Vision number 2, the Shattered Glory. Now this is obviously pointing at Argus and the Burning Crusades. Vision number 3, the Inevitable Fate. Void with Tentacles. Now I believe this is something to do with our future, and stick around because we're going to keep looking into this till we find out all we can. Other YouTubers have also speculated on this, but let's take a look at the words from the Star Agora, which says, "Is that not enough? Must I show you the true horror of our reality? Very well. Witness what I've seen, and tremble. These are the beings who will devour the future that you fight to protect. Avatars of non-existence, knowing nothing but hunger. In the interest of keeping this video short and not making it a huge video, I'll be breaking this down so there will be other videos that directly deal with N'Zoth, C'Thun, and Yogg Saron. And you're going to want to watch these videos because we're only getting started. In the end, you're going to have all the proof you need to show that the Black Empire will rise again. And as a bonus, many of your questions about the Whispers of Il'gynoth will be answered. If you've enjoyed this video, be sure to give a thumbs up. If not, hit the other button instead. But in either case, be sure to go ahead and hit the subscribe button so that you don't miss anything going forward. Trust me, you don't want to miss what's coming up on this channel in the very near future. For now, have a great day, and I'll see you soon in Azeroth.